All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Many Last Words podcast. This is Bill. I'm here, and Peyton is currently on a vacation. He's going down to Mexico for a wedding. Hoping you're enjoying your time, my guy. Sure we'll have him back next week. So I'll take this as a opportunity to do another solo pod, going back to the roots of what used to be the Wild Bill pod. It's not all about me anymore. It's about getting the final thoughts out on the previous week of NFL football. So we had week 10. This will be my recap of especially the Bears and the Eagles as we have a newfound alliance. There's a huge coalition going on Twitter where the Bears have defeated every team in the NFC East besides the Eagles. The Eagles have beaten the Packers and the Vikings, and they got the Lions coming up on Sunday night. Um, if the Eagles beat them, that'll be the completion. We are like the Bloods and the Crips exchanging the bandanas. We have formed our alliance. We take care of each other's business, and it's gonna be cool on Black Friday when we face off. I think it'll just be, best man wins. Keep it moving after that. And I am very I like how we like each other. Like the Eagles fans, I'm glad we're in good graces with that fan base. I'm like, I appreciate seeing you guys trashing the NFC North, especially on Twitter. It's fun. I know we need the backup also. Those NFC North teams are brutal on us for, not having the best team in the past many handfuls of years. And it feels good to have friends, which I guess a lot of these teams do not have, and rightfully so, because you guys suck. But the Eagles are cool. So that's pretty chill. I don't think you guys really care about our week. I like talking about my week with Peyton because he's mentioned it before. Like, even if we don't get any followers or nobody pays attention to us, it's still just us catching up as friends. We've been homies since we were like 8 years old, and I'm going to his wedding in less than a month, and I'm excited to see Peyton and celebrate him in Victoria. And it's gonna be a nice time to see all the family and all of our friends. Yeah, so that's what's going on this week. It's kind of an overcast day in LA. It's gonna rain the next couple days. Not looking forward to that. Not because I can't deal with the rain, but because the other people that live around here do not, and neither can the streets or the drainage in Southern California because they're not equipped for it. So, send some good wishes for me. Hope I don't get into a accident at the detriment of one other person or many other people because it's possible. You people in Southern California don't know how to drive. And by you people, I mean literally all of you. You guys suck. Figure it out. It's not that hard. All right, so I think we can get into the Chicago Bears defeating the New York Football Giants by the score of 24-20. I don't care that the Giants suck. I don't care. That's an NFL team. They had one of the better defensive lines in the NFL. Brian Burns is an all-pro player and no sacks. More so the reason being Caleb Williams is a magician in his ability to avoid the sacks. The offensive line had its moments. Um, I think the left side is still seeing some issues. Theo Benedict, I think we're giving him a long leash on account of being a rookie. Well, I think second year player, but first time seeing some real, first team reps in action. I'm very down with moving on from back Braxton Jones. I think worst case, he's kind of like a lateral movement on from Braxton Jones. Um, this is the first time in a while that I can honestly say that it felt like we won the game because of Caleb Williams. And that's super cool to know that we have a quarterback that can take you back from a deficit in the fourth quarter. I do not care that Jackson Dart went out with the concussion. Again, like you want to play teams at full strength. Can't really control what happens. It's always next man up. Every NFL team has the same mentality. I don't think the people in the locker room care. Russell Wilson is a consummate professional, even if he hasn't performed at the level that he did when he was younger in Seattle. That's still a good quarterback out there. Um, Still made big plays, still scored points, even though they probably could have taken the penalty on the field goal and tried to extend the lead. which would have probably, if they didn't get it, yeah, the Bears tied up with one single touchdown. But you got to have big balls in the league, man. And we'll talk about the firing of Brian Daboll in a sec. The Bears defense did just enough. And obviously, like I said, Jackson Dart going out changed the whole, game plan, their ability to do things, their ability to create a little more pressure on Russell Wilson with knowing that he has limited mobility compared to when he was younger. He's not a young running quarterback like Jackson Dart is. And dude, props to that guy. Jackson Dart is an incredible quarterback. I think he's actually going to develop into a really good player. It's a shame that the Giants did him a disservice by firing his coach in his rookie year, even though it kind of felt like that was going to happen at some point anyways. That's a cycle that I'm familiar with as a diehard Bears fan. We did it with Mitch. We did it with Justin Fields. Um, that's not a very conducive environment to put a young quarterback in, but I feel like Jackson Dart is somebody that is equipped to roll with the punches, and any, prospective coach that is coming in would be super happy to be in a position with a Jackson Dart and with a Darius Slayton, with a Cam Scatabo when he comes back healthy. Um, yeah, that's what I felt about the New York Football Giants. Not an awful team. It's just, I mean, giving up the lead four times this season, having a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's something had to change. And I mean, I feel bad for that team, dude. They did the work. They just didn't finish the game. And same thing here with the Bears. A lot of drop passes. Again, I'm willing to give them a little bit of leeway just based off Coach Ben Johnson getting on the microphone right after the game and saying that he's not too worried about it. It's not typical, not what he sees in practice, not who they are. The drops are, kind of an anomaly. Shame that it happened in the game. I'm sure that's something that they're focusing on this week during preparation. It's getting cold in Chicago, so they'll have to get used to it. Um, yeah. I mean, we see Caleb doing what you'd want to see him do. I mean, the offense was moving, didn't finish a few of the drives, but the ones that really mattered at the end of the game, the last two that you had to score on, they were able to. You get chunk plays, you get the incredible sack avoidance to hit Colston Loveland on a moving throw, which was an awesome throw, awesome catch when it mattered the most. Rome's dad can shut the fuck up because he got the touchdown and like seven or eight targets. Um, sorry, Mr. Odunze. I don't know you. I don't mean to offend. I understand your frustrations in the past game where Rum didn't get any catches, but it's a team effort. Um, and the team won. I don't think Rome personally was offended by it, so you got what you asked for. Your guy got his touches and his touchdown also. Um, yeah, I feel optimistic about the Bears where they're at. 6-3. We got to keep it realistic. We haven't beaten the best teams. I mean, I think the combined record is like 14 and 30 something or 40 something. I don't have that off the top of my head. And we have some real challenges coming up. The Vikings are a different team than they were week one, just like Ben said that the Bears are a different team from week one. And we're going to be going up to Minnesota in their home. They'll have their fans. They have good fans. I'm sure there will be plenty of Bear fans to go up there also. It'll be a tough environment for the Bears to play in. I know Caleb last year didn't have the best game in US Bank Stadium, so we'll see how he responds to that. And I also feel like in our defense, I don't think is nearly as good as it was week one. JJ McCarthy has a few more games under his belt. Um, Justin Jefferson seems frustrated also, so we'll see how that affects the game plan. We'll see if they target him more. I'll keep an eye out on his effort. Not that I'm like the judge of that, but it's just something to keep an eye on. And there might be implications down the road, maybe at the end of the season with whatever goes on with that. So I'm hoping for a win. I'm hoping for another divisional win, the first one of Ben Johnson's career with the Bears. And then yeah, after that we got some other big games. So 6-3, happy for to be in a good spot. 3 games over 500. I think this is the first time since 2018 and first time after that since 2013 since we've had 6 wins after week 10 in the season, which is kind of sad for the Bears. We haven't had good teams in a while, but whatever. I'm happy with it. Yeah, so Brian Dable fired. It's a shame. It really is. I don't know where Brian Dable goes from there. I don't know who's really going to be looking to hire him after that. I don't know who the Giants are going to be like. I don't know who's going to be in the market. I think it's too early in the season to know and to see. Um, I don't know. Maybe someone coming off the Seattle Seahawks coaching staff because they're looking pretty good. We'll see. They're down. And then we can move to the Eagles game Monday night, played against the Green Bay Packers, who have lost back-to-back games at home in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Kind of a slog of a game, kind of ugly. The big defensive slugfest. Honestly, I think the game was lost at the end of the first half for the Packers with the fumble and not being able to score after having, the small semblance of life in the first half, the only little bit that they were really able to get the ball moving on. Um, the Eagles were going to do what they were going to do. Um, Davante Adams is, excuse me, not Davante Adams, Devontae Smith is an incredible player. I mean, I feel like he comes down with those 50-50 balls super frequently, especially when he's one-on-one down the field and has like half a step. I feel like that's a lock as long as Jalen puts a good throw, which he usually does on him. That's unstoppable. I mean, we didn't really see a whole lot of AJ Brown in this game, but we didn't need to. 10-7 is, not the most exciting game. But the Eagles showed up to play. Jalen Phillips is an immediate impact player for the Eagles. I think this is the first game. He was setting the edge. He was getting pressure on Jordan Love, stopping the run. I almost want to come out at this thought with like sorry about the foot, with like as unbiased of a perspective as I possibly can have, but also take this with a grain of salt because I do want nothing but the absolute worst for the Green Bay Packers, their fans, their players, their organization, the town that they live in, the state of Wisconsin, all of it. I wish nothing but the worst for you. But the talk about Matt LaFleur being potentially fired, I love it. But it's so complex because I'm starting to finally see what a lot of Packer fans on Twitter are saying about his play calling being more detrimental than a net positive for the team. I mean, on that fourth down towards the end of the game, the Eagles called out the inside zone to the right side. They knew it was coming. It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a genius call. When you needed a yard, they couldn't get it. And that's what you need to be able to do that in the NFL. The team voted against doing the tush push, but that is like the way that the Philadelphia Eagles have been able to sustain consistently getting their first downs and getting their offense to keep playing on the field is finding that wrinkle that works at least to the point where like they haven't changed the rules for it. And I don't know if that's going to happen at any point, but they figured it out and they do it consistently and they win games because of it. And if Matt LaFleur can't do that on 4th and 1, 4th and goal from the 8 against Tom Brady, being able to convert on these big downs, I see the argument. But also, who else is out there that could do what he's done? He's had an incredible record, albeit the first handful of years because of Aaron Rodgers playing at MVP level level of play. I don't know. I'd love to see somebody else go in there though. Love to see, I don't know. It can't be any better than Matt LaFleur though. So, but it's also like, how much of it is Matt LaFleur not calling an aggressive play style? How much is it that he maybe feels limited by Jordan Love? How much is it Jordan Love bailing him out? It's a big sliding scale. And that team, for as much talent as, I mean, I don't see it, but as much talent as people want to say that they have, the defense played well. Again, I don't think Mike is having that big of a difference or making that big of a difference on the defense. Is he creating pressure? Sure. Is he getting a whole lot of sacks? I don't think he's like in the leaderboards for sacks on the season, and he's played every single game. The secondary is pretty good. The defensive scheme is working. The Eagles are bound to score a lot of points when they're able to, and it just didn't work out that way. They bottled up Saquon. I think he only had 60 yards on the ground. So the way that it's not lining up for Green Bay is definitely a cause of concern. There's a level of consistency, and they expect to win every single year. I know they have a new president, however the hell they run those things up in that place, and they're not particularly like warming up to the idea of extending him, Matt LaFleur, that is. So yeah, that organization works in a really weird way. So we'll see how the rest of this season plays out. They're in third place now. They have what seems to be a winnable game against the New York Football Giants coming up next. If that doesn't go super well, I think to get Matt LaFleur off the hot seat, they have to absolutely beat the tits off the chest of them to really be like, okay, yeah, this is definitely our guy. We don't have to worry about it. And also, like, it sucks that Tucker Kraft isn't on that team because that makes them an even more explosive offense. You can't, you're able to kind of focus more on the wide receivers instead of, Luke Musgrave that doesn't necessarily produce nearly as much as Tucker Kraft did. And that is such an advantage to opposing defenses because if there's not that big body in the middle of the field that they consistently go to, they can cover up Christian Watson. Bo Melton too. That's a name I hadn't heard in a long time. That guy came out of the woodworks. Nice to see he's still in the league. Um, you love to see the turmoil. You love to see it. Um, and then as far as the Eagles go, what can you really say? They're the class of the NFC still. I think going deeper into the season, we're seeing a lot more of, what other teams we can take seriously. I think it's the Eagles. I think it's the Rams. Ugh. I want to say it's Detroit. So this Sunday night game coming up, it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited for it. I might actually go out to like watch it somewhere. We'll see what my friends are up to. Um, Back-to-back primetime games for the Eagles. Then we got obviously that Black Friday standalone game coming up. November's gonna be a good month for Eagle fans. My new homies, my alliance. I'll be cheering you guys on. You know, whatever happens in that Black Friday game happens. We'll keep it moving. And I appreciate you guys. So I'm gonna pull some things up on the laptop here. For whatever reason, Google Docs was not working for me. Or I don't know, it wasn't working on my phone or my laptop. So I don't have my notes in front of me. So much for all that hard work that I put in for you guys. I just want you all to know that I appreciate every single one of you commenting, watching the videos, watching the reels and the YouTube shorts. You guys are getting testy on TikTok. I appreciate you. I appreciate the discourse at the very least. If you're gonna come at me and say that I don't know ball, at least do it from an account that shows your actual face. I don't need trolls in my life. Um, and if you really want to have an argument with me, I'm down. I'm down. Um, don't just come at me with saying I don't know ball. So I do clear a lot of time out of my schedule to sit down and watch this ball. Yes. So the reason that I didn't mention the Buccaneers Which I mean, obviously, they're still a really good team. The Patriots are so for real, dude. I mean, what can you say? Drake May is. I think Drake May is having a better season enough to say that he may have been a better selection than Jane Daniels. I mean, your best of ability is availability, and Drake May is a big guy, durable, hitting receivers, leading the team. Not only that, New England also has a great running game. I mean, who is it? What's his name? Trayvon Hendrickson, the two super long runs. Awesome. Awesome team. And they've got the stink of, Brady Belichick off of them. They're an exciting team to watch. I don't hate that. And on top of that, the Bills are kind of floundering out, losing against the Miami Dolphins 30 to 13. So that AFC East battle between the two of them, I mean, they already played in that Sunday night game where the Patriots got the better of them in Buffalo. I do think the Patriots might win this division. Um, Josh Allen didn't have his best game. And I know it's a pretty quick transition. I don't really have a whole lot to say. It's tough to really talk about these games solo. I'm not the best at it, and I don't watch the games apparently. Um, Admittedly, the best I can do to watch them all at the same time and also work the job that I do and do my responsibilities is watch either Red Zone or the YouTube recaps, which show like 20 freaking minutes of highlights. So like obviously I don't get the game flow, but I see what happens. You can deduce a lot from the box scores and such and those highlights, those big plays. The big plays are what really matters in the game. I mean, I don't give a damn about like 2 yards and cloud of dust. Who cares? It's all about the bottom line. If that makes me not know ball, then whatever. Anyways, I mean, the Dolphins kept it close to the very end when they really broke it open. Um, it's not a good look for the Bills. It's really not. Let me see what their record is. Let's see. The Bills are 6-3. The Patriots are, this is really good podcasting. Thanks for bearing with me. Patriots are 8-2. So they'll have their bye week at some point. I do think the Patriots are also a better team with Ramondre Stevenson. He's been hurt the past couple weeks. So yeah, man, the Patriots quick turnaround with Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is probably making a case for Coach of the Year also. So that's exciting for them. Kind of happy for them. Also, don't really care to see them happy most of the time because they've had whatever they've had for however long. So whatevs. Jets got back-to-back wins. That one I actually didn't watch any of. But shout out the Jets. Shout out Justin Fields. Shout out Aaron Glenn. Two wins. So who knows who's going to get the first overall pick? It might even be Tennessee again. Let's see. What else can I touch on? Oh, I did sit through and watch the entirety of the Rams 49ers game. Matthew Stafford is the NFL MVP. He has to be. I mean, what he's doing at the age that he's doing and just the touchdown to interception ratio, to do that against a well-coached team like the 49ers, albeit they're very injured on the defensive side of the ball. Mac Jones also played pretty well. I don't think. I mean, that was just it. The Rams were just the better team. Good game. I don't think there's a whole lot of shit to be talked on either team. Matthew Stafford is just. I don't really want to glaze him, man, but this guy's doing incredible things out there. This is probably what like Aaron Rodgers would do. I just didn't want to say that ever or acknowledge it. But yeah, I mean that's a good team that's gonna make a lot of noise in the playoffs. So I wish I had my notes in front of me. I had other things about this. I do think the 49ers are also gonna make the playoffs. That NFC West is awesome because I mean I don't think either of them even like win the division. I think it might even be Seattle. I think there's a big game coming up next week that will really decide things. Yes, Seahawks and Rams in LA. I think that'll be a huge defining moment for that division. I'm excited for it. I expect a lot of points. I expect whatever the over is to hit. And yeah, I'll definitely sit down and watch that one as well here locally in LA, probably on Fox. So I'll have to figure out my way. Dude, I'm in such a bad place in my apartment where like I have the TV antenna and I just can't get any of the channels. I don't know if there's like some sort of interference specifically where we're at or like what's going on with that because it worked perfectly in my other apartment out in Sherman Oaks. But just for some reason out here in North Hollywood, I don't know what it is because I see other people in my building with their antennas out the window and like they seem to be doing all right. For whatever reason, I don't get anything with it. So if anybody has any fixes for that, let me know because I'd love to have Fox. No, would have been nice to have been able to watch the World Series off the antenna or like the big bowl games when it comes time at the beginning of next year. That would have been cool. Um, but yeah, Rams Seahawks, good game. Um, let's see, the Vikings lost against the Ravens. The Ravens are looking good. JJ McCarthy, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I don't know what to think of him. We'll see like if he's improved against this Bears defense, which is giving up just about anything to anyone. Justin Jefferson, we'll see how he's playing, and if he maybe wants to get traded to a division team in the offseason, that'd be pretty cool. And that's really the only thing I really wanted to touch on. Oh, dude, Davis Mills. Shout out Davis Mills. I forgot all about him. Clutch. Clutch, dude. If I'm not mistaken, is also the reason why we have Caleb Williams and why we have the number one pick and why we traded it with the Carolina Panthers and why we didn't stick with Justin Fields and why they got Bryce Young and why we got all those picks and why we got Darnell Wright and Tyreek Stevenson and I don't know who else. Shout out Davis Mills. Awesome run to get that touchdown. I think it was on a fourth down also. Um, I don't know what to make of the Jaguars anymore. I know Sonny's probably over there taking a nap, but she's pissed off. I mean, the Jags are 5-4. I think they've lost back-to-back games. Yeah, that's tough. And that's a winnable division for him too. The AFC South. Well, that's not true. The Colts are running away with that one. But it feels like they could have made the playoffs, or they I might still. I don't know how the AFC picture is. Actually, I'm gonna pull that up. I've already done enough, you know, figuring things out on my own time here. Let's see. Let's go to ESPN, which I also don't get, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. The Jaguars are currently in the seventh spot, so they're in the last wild card spot. Chiefs are out of the playoffs. The Colts are number one seed. I mean, I don't know. This was a winnable game for them. CJ Stroud being out. I guess you can't underestimate Davis Mills. That guy's done a lot of good for a lot of different franchises, and he showed you right there. Lions beat the crap out of the Commanders. That's to be expected. Jane Daniels out. Don't really have much to say about that game. Chargers put a smack down on the Steelers. Maybe the Steelers are not as good as I initially thought. The defense is pretty good. Offense, I don't really know. This was one of the first games where I can honestly say, and like not just being a hater, not just being, the Bears fan that remembers, Aaron Rodgers doesn't look that good. He's looking pretty old. And that sucks for all of the football fans that want to continue seeing the same dudes that they've been seeing. I mean, I think about like what was it, 2008 when he first started? That's crazy. I was still in elementary school. No, I was in middle school, but still, that was so long ago, dude. Good riddance. And that's what I got. Um, I don't really have much to add about. Well, first of all, that's it for the NFL. Let me know if you guys have any comments. If you guys think I'm stupid. If you guys have any other topics that you want to hear about that maybe I didn't get to touch on. I love football. I really do, and we'll see how the Bears do going forward. Shout out the Birds. We're like this. We're like this. Um, is usually the point where I switch to the other camera and talk about baseball. I don't have much to say about baseball other than there was that. News report coming out about Emmanuel Clase, and I can't remember who else, but I think it was the catcher that he would throw to for rigging pitches to hit on certain balls and strikes to win like tens of thousands of dollars. It's probably not a good look for baseball. I mean, I didn't know you could like bet on particular pitches, and that's so unpredictable. I feel like it's so hard to rig baseball, even if it's like something as simple as throwing a ball or a strike, like intentionally trying to throw a ball. There's a Javi Baez out there that's probably going to swing at it. Andy Paez costing him like 100,000 bucks on that one swing that's going around Twitter. I almost like kind of respect the dudes that are willing to, do something so small and so petty for like a fraction of what their contract is worth. Or, maybe like practice in the off season, do better, get a bigger contract. I don't know. I'm looking to have another baseball expert come on here pretty soon. I'm trying to set that up, so maybe he'll have a little more insight. Um, and we'll give you guys a little more higher quality content as opposed to what you got today. This is just what you got to work with. So let me know what you got. Um, Let me know if you hear of any rumors going around. I saw some stupid ass tweet earlier about how the Cubs are going to try to move on from Cade Horton and who else was it? Someone else, but I would be so outrageously upset if that were true. Like why give away like bona fide good pitcher when you already said you're not going to re-sign Shota Imanaga? Already in a thin rotation that the reason we didn't like compete in the NLDS was because we didn't have a starting rotation that could go deep. Our bullpen was okay. We had the people that we trusted. Don't get me riled up on some Cubs stuff in November. But yeah, we'll talk a little more about that some other time. Um, Hopefully this was bearable enough for most of you to sit through and listen to me just talk about stuff. I do miss you, Peyton. I know you're listening. I appreciate you. Love you. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've gotten some subscribers or rather, we've gotten some subscribers over the past handful of days. And if you want to fight with us online, let's fight. We're here for it. We have time here and there. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Los quiero mucho. Until next time, it's over.